Guys, I can't believe I'm saying this, but RFK Jr. has achieved a rare, bottom of the barrel, bare minimum W. I don't know what happened. Maybe the brainworm has, like, decayed a little more, and some of his gray matter has recovered, perhaps. Maybe the brainworm took a nap and is no longer currently gnawing on his brainstem. God knows what caused him to double back on this take, but RFK Jr. is now urging people to get vaccinated for measles. After years of doubting the efficacy of said vaccines, the measles outbreaks have gotten so bad and have gotten a lot of attention. People are a little bit freaked out. Measles is everyone knows how bad measles is, right? It's not like COVID where it's like, is it even real? Everyone knows measles is real. At least most people know measles is real, and they know how bad it is. So even among Trump's party, I don't think there's been this super duper strong push to be anti-measles vaccination. That's more of a niche thing, while the COVID vax is considered like the bad vax by a lot of these people. But now RFK Jr. is walking it back. I don't know if this is just some kind of like panic flip in order to prevent America from suffering a mass outbreak within the first year of Trump's presidency, akin to what happened in the last year of Trump's presidency last time, and his approval ratings dropping to record lows because of it. Maybe he's just trying to avoid that. I don't know. I thought RFK was so cooked there was no way he'd go back on this, to be honest with you. I feel like I have been proven wrong here, because RFK, to be clear, the Kennedy family has something in their, like, whatever, because ranging from the derangement we've seen from RFK to, I believe there is a Kennedy that currently lives isolated in a house bought for him by the family, severely armed, and threatens anyone who comes near the premises with the threat of death. Like, I'm pretty sure there's just straight up a Kennedy right now who is, like, holed up with guns right now, threatening anyone who comes near. Like, that I'm pretty sure one of the Kennedys is in that situation. I may be wrong, but I've heard about that. And then the Kennedy family, in order to save face, because they did not care about one of their, I think they had a daughter. There was one of the, like children, of the Kennedy family had, like, autism or something like that. I don't even remember what it was, but it was just, like, some higher level developmental disability that led to, like, occasional outbursts, and, it just wasn't convenient for the Kennedy family on a PR level, and so they had her lobotomized, which they had her go to a place where they took a steel, or I guess it would be like a titanium rod, and then had it, like, shoved into her brain through her eye, or through her eye socket around her eye, lobotomized her in order to, like, keep her from having outbursts, I guess, was their justification. Like, this is a family that has done some fucked up shit, and they locked her up after. I didn't know about that, but yeah, this is a family with some skeletons in their closet, and a lot of them pertain to mental illness, which is why when I see RFK, people joke about the brainworm, but, like, a lot of people get that particular parasite from eating undercooked pork, and then they end up being fine. They don't become like RFK. In reality, RFK is probably the way he is because he has a very substantial and public family history of mental illness. That's probably the case. Rose Kennedy was lobotomized because she suffered a traumatic brain injury at birth, and the lobotomy made it worse. Drunk driving on Martha's Vineyard. Damn. I guess that's the story behind it. I didn't know all the story behind it. I just knew those bits. It's like, man, what a fucked up family.
When a school-age child died of the measles in West Texas last week, HHS Secretary...
Dude, the joke, nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys, is one thing, but it'd be even funnier if it was nothing ever happens to the brains of the Kennedys, because damn, dude, those motherfuckers' gray matter do not have a very good track record. I don't know what it is about the cranial cavity of the Kennedys, but shit's invading those places constantly. Like, it Just things coming in from all directions at their brains. Bugs, metal beams, bullets, all directions, all the time.
RFK Jr. downplayed the outbreak, calling it, quote, not unusual. Never mind the fact that no one had died of measles in the United States in a decade. Since then, though, the past week, cases are continuing to pile up, including in New Jersey. And now RFK Jr. is amending himself ever so slightly, writing in a Fox News op-ed, quote, this situation has escalated rapidly, and adding, quote, all parents should consult with.
From my understanding, measles is like chickenpox, but if it was like developed in a lab to be the worst possible experience ever. From what I've had it described as like just fire ants biting you constantly, or I guess stinging you constantly on every area of the body affected. Yeah, the bugs are back, guys.
With their healthcare providers to understand their options to get the MMR vaccine. Joining us now is senior scholar at Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, Dr. Amish Adalja. All right, Amish Adalja, I'm sorry. Measles vaccine. Can you say what RFK is refusing to say?
The measles vaccine is the solution to this outbreak, and RFK Jr. is kind of going around that. He's not really giving it a full-throated defense. He's giving it a very kind of anemic, kind of perfunctory type of position on it, when he should be doing what, for example, Trump's first HHS Secretary, Alex Azar, did during the first administration, where it was a very full-throated, very aggressive defense saying, this is the solution, this is the way out of this is why the outbreak occurred, but you're not really seeing that, and I think it's what you'd expect.
Why not?
I think it's because he's shown who he is for the last several decades. We know that he's an anti-vaccine activist. We know he is aligned with people who have said that the MMR vaccine causes autism. He wouldn't even disavow that during his confirmation hearings. He wants to make a statue to Andrew Wakefield, who was the guy who made that false statement. So this isn't somebody who actually believes in what he's writing there. I think he's written it maybe for political reasons. And that's what you're getting, is that kind of a response. That's what you would expect from someone like that.
So when you hear measles, you think, oh, God, it's going to be something like the chicken pox. I'll get over it. I'll be fine if I get it. Or, most kids will be fine.
I really hope the chuds start getting measles, man. Because, you'll see, there's no, infecting people with measles, and they don't know you have measles. Obviously, there's some infectious period where you're not showing symptoms, but it's a very small period compared to the majority of it where you're suffering from very obvious pox all over your body, and then you're also in severe pain. So these anti-vaxxers not getting the measles vaccine, while some good people, some children of these people will get it as well, there's nothing we can do to change that. But what we can do is laugh uproariously at the chuds posting TikToks covered in splotches, screaming into the camera about how much it hurts.
Or if they survive it, then they'll be fine. There's some new literature out there, new studies that show that the measles does something that has longer-term ramifications. Can you explain?
So the measles virus doesn't just cause a rash and a runny nose and red eyes. It actually affects your immune system. It actually deletes some of the memory that you have to other pathogens, other infectious disease. So after you get measles, your immune system is kind of crippled, hobbled for some time when it responds to any other type of infectious disease.
So it kills the antibodies in your blood? Really? Measles burns the antibodies out of your blood for other diseases. Measles makes your lymph nodes swell and become infected. So I guess your lymph nodes produce antibodies which identify infection. And so when you get measles, due to your lymph nodes and your immune system being gigafucked, is the reason measles is so much more deadly than chickenpox, because if you get pneumonia or a cold or anything, even mild while you have measles, you're fucked, because your immune system is on hiatus, basically. You're debuffed. Yeah. For those who don't know, Delancey is a doctor, so when I have medical questions, I consult Delancey. Also afterwards, so it's a forever or at least long-term thing. Ooh, not great, not great.
So this is not something you want.
So it means when you're a kid, you're building up a giant immunity, a set of immunities from all of the various viruses that you pick up in elementary school, and you.
Ooh, is this why it's better to get this as a kid, because haven't really built that many immunities yet in your life, and so wiping the slate clean is not as detrimental as when you're an adult. You have to go to work, you have to like you are doing things that most people doing those things have built up in adults amount of immunity to disease and whatnot. And when you get measles, it's like, ugh, it's more likely to kill you as a child. I thought you're supposed to get measles and chickenpox, if at all, as a kid, because as an adult, it kills your ass. Delancer and Heavy Gretel are contradictory. Let me Google it. Let's find out. Measles, better to get as adult or child? According to the CDC and most health experts, it is significantly better to get measles as a child through vaccination than as well, that's different. Getting vaccinated is not the same as getting it. That's as complications from measles are more likely to occur in adults, especially those over 20 years old. Therefore, it's crucial to ensure children are properly vaccinated against it. But is it better for a kid to get measles and grow some level of immunity to it as a child than to get it as an adult? Because I know that's the case with chickenpox, but is it the case with measles? Most vaccinated adults are immune to measles. Yeah, but studies in recent years confirm that immunity is... Yeah, I'm boosted for measles, by the way. I have both vaccines. I should have a very low chance of getting measles, but you can't get measles again if you've had it as a child. So it seems like once you've had measles once, you can't get it again if you had it as a kid. You're less likely to die if you get it as a kid. So before the vaccine, you wanted to get measles or chickenpox as a kid because it's nearly a death sentence as an adult, maybe. But nowadays, you don't want to get it at all because we have a vaccine. Why would you want to get measles when you can just get the vaccine, the MMR? You're more likely to get it if you get it as a child. You're more likely to die if you get it as a child. Prognosis: most people survive measles, though in some cases complications may occur. About 1 in 4 individuals will be hospitalized, and 1 in 2,000 or 1 in 1,000 will die. Complications are more likely in children under 5 and adults over 20. Ooh, okay. So if you're a toddler or a baby, measles is nearly a death sentence. If you're over 20, measles is nearly not a death sentence, but it's not a good situation. And so the ideal range would be like from the time that you're 6 to like 17, you either want to get vaxxed, or before the vax, you would have wanted to have gotten measles and chickenpox, because the ideal range for like getting it and being safe, and because you can't get it again, is 5 to 20. That's what it says here on the same article that Heavy Gretel sent. So 5 to 20 is the safe quote unquote range, but before 5 you're fucked. After 20 you're fucked, basically. That's what it says here. Under 5 and over 20. So we're both kind of right. That's the sweet spot. If you're gonna get it, you want to get it in that range.
You pick up in daycare and whatnot. And so if you get the measles and you survive it and you're 16 years old and you come across a pathogen that you would normally be able to overcome pretty easily, are you suddenly...
Okay, so he's talking about something separate from that, where after getting measles, though, even though you may not get measles again, your immune system got burned up, and maybe now in the future, there are now, we know medically perhaps due to more recent medical science, that there are symptoms to having ever gotten measles that we didn't consider before that affect you. Like now you have a comorbidity, basically. You have something that weakens your body for the next infection. A bit like COVID, where if you've gotten COVID, you've been debuffed forever now, more likely than not. And when you get sick in the future, it's going to be worse than otherwise.
Struggling?
Yes, your immune system, your immune response is blunted now. It's been sort of taken a couple steps back because of what measles has done. It's deleted. It literally deletes and kills certain cells that would be there to respond to those infections.
Okay, so remind us again, if you want to get the measles shot, you haven't yet.
Called memory T cells? Is that correct, guys? Is my phlebotomy up to date? I guess that would be phlebotomy, right? Like study of blood. It's memory T cells, right? They memorize the general like genetic signifiers of a particular invasive bacteria or virus or whatever it may be, and then they set off the signal for white blood cells to come in and start doing their work. Do I have that right? Yay! Okay, good. Osmosis Jones did not fail me. Good.
Yet gotten one. What is the normal schedule for measles shots?
So usually children get measles, the vaccine between 12 and 15 months, and then again around 5 to 7 years of age. You can sort of adjust that a little bit. They're not ironclad, but those are the times when people get vaccinated.
How can you adjust it? Say you have a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old and you want to get them that second shot to build that immunity.
You can call the pediatrician and get it early. They can move it up. It's not really that big of a deal if they get it when they're age 4 or age 5. And certainly if you're living in an outbreak area, it might make sense to have the added.
From what I read, ages 4 and 5, not ideal. 6, 7, 8 onward up to 20 is actually the ideal range. But this guy is suggesting that the effects on the immune system, so there's more research that even Wikipedia might not be fully up to date on. Interesting. Because this doctor, assuming he's not some quack, and I don't think he is, seems to be suggesting we have research now that suggests that at least that part of the issue with measles, the immune system damage, is less severe the younger you get it. But then again, if you get it super young, you might not live to benefit from having just gotten it younger than later. So we should just be vaccinating kids and not letting them get measles, I think, might be the moral of this story.
Protection. And remember, there's a bunch of people that didn't get a second dose because that second dose was added around late 1980s or so. So there's people that were born before then who got one dose, which is good, but not completely optimal. So if you're going to Texas, if you're traveling internationally where there's lots of measles, you may want to get that second dose as well.
What about a booster? I mean, would it be available to me if I wanted a booster and I had those 2 shots? Would it be necessary? Would it be helpful?
It wouldn't be harmful. I don't know if it would actually help you if you've already fully immune with 2 doses of the vaccine. This is one of our most effective vaccines. This is what keeps measles at bay.
It is the best.
And I think if you're fully immunized...
The MMR and polio vaccines are like literal liquid gold. Like, they really are. The fact that you can get the MMR vaccine twice in your life, 1 initial vax and 1 booster, and you're good. Like getting any more, you're basically wasting your time and money. It won't hurt you, but it won't help you. It's like you're good. Like a vax and a booster, and you're set. Like, compare that to the COVID vaccine, which you have to continue, even if you've just gotten your, 10th or 12th booster. I'm pretty sure you can still get sick, Like, you're slowly but surely whittling down your chances of reinfection every booster you get, but you still have a pretty sizable chance of getting sick. I'm like 3 shots deep on the COVID vaccine at this point. Like, I've gotten vaxxed and boosted twice, I think. And I still got COVID twice. So now I'm triple vaxxed, double immunity from being sick boosted. I have not gotten COVID a 3rd time, to be fair. But then again, I've been taking a lot of precautions against it. I wore a mask the entire time I was at the hospital the other day. I wasn't, nothing wrong with me, by the way. My mom was just getting a checkup for surgery stuff, follow-up stuff. But yeah, I wore a mask the whole time, made sure to use hand sanitizer constantly. So I take the precautions, but man, the COVID vaccine, as good as it is, compared to the MMR and polio vaccines, those things are literal liquid gold compared to COVID vaccine. Like, it's good. The COVID vaccine's solid, but it's like, man, if only it was as good as our other ones, because maybe it just speaks to how deadly and awful and tricky COVID is, specifically with how much it mutates. But yeah, I mean, I guess the same goes for the flu shot, right? The flu is just as slippery, if not more, right? Like, we try to get everyone vaccinated for the flu every season. I am guilty of not getting flu vax myself. But if everyone just went and did it, we could eliminate rhinovirus in America, right? Like, the common cold could theoretically just be eliminated if we took very basic hygiene protocols, got vaccinated for the flu. Like, the cold and the flu could be dealt with. Like, just dealt with, pretty much. Like, they would be a rare occurrence in America. We could totally do that. Like, if we started manufacturing every handrail, guardrail, everything that people touch with, like, copper, and had hand sanitizer sprayers all over the place, and use, like, some kind of UV sterilization where we can, we've got the money and resources to do this. We could severely limit the amount of sickness likelihood in our society, and we choose not to. Like, people don't get vaxxed, they don't wash their hands, they don't... Like I see people raffle around with their cash money from their wallet and then proceed to eat French fries. I've seen that. I will never forget the time I saw a guy go up to the front counter at McDonald's, pull some fives out of his wallet to pay for his food, walk with his food over to his table, and proceed to immediately start eating French fries with his hands. I don't know if you know what the average bacterial content of a dollar bill is, but there's a lot of fecal matter on it. Like, the average dollar bill has a ridiculous amount of literal human and probably animal shit particles all up in its, like, weaving and whatnot. The idea of touching money and then going and touching your food that you then put into your mouth, I wanted to vomit. I immediately lost my appetite when I saw that. It was actually, like, call me a germaphobe, but that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Yeah, that shit's... You know how many ones have been inside a stripper's ass crack? Like, dude, when you're handling ones, you have no idea where that one has been, bro. Like, that dollar bill that you just touched might have just been on some exploratory journey halfway up a stripper's ass 5 years ago in, like, the sweaty, salty back of like a I don't know, Florida or like Alabama like strip club, man. And now you're touching that and you're about to eat your food. Trust me, guys. You will eliminate, like, so much of your chances of getting sick if you just always make sure to wash the fuck out of your hands after touching money, especially if you're about to eat. That's the big risk, like paying for food with cash and then proceeding to eat, especially if it's like from a food truck or something. Carry a little bottle of hand sanitizer with you. I'm telling you, buy one of those little travel bottles of hand sanitizer like this big, stick it in your pocket with your phone, keys, wallet, and all your other essentials. And when you go somewhere where you're going to eat, if you got, especially if you can't, like, go and wash your hands at a sink with soap right then and there, like you're buying some street food or something, hand sanitizer makes all the difference in the world, I assure you. Anyway, I don't know how I got locked into that particular stun lock, but I guess it's relatively related to the whole disease topic. But hey, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, enjoyable, or educational, or just in any way worth supporting, then consider leaving a like and a comment. Every single thumbs up and every single comment boosts the channel substantially in the algorithm. And it really does mean a lot. I appreciate it so much from all of you and every form of support you guys send. And of course, if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon and follow my social medias linked down below in the description, where you can follow my, other activity on other platforms. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or maybe even buy some Xander Hall custom merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.